So the topic today will be lobs, lobbing. And for me, it's not utilized enough. If I look at recreational level, 2.5, 3.0, 3.5 level, yes, it is used a lot in doubles. But in singles, for my taste, it's not used enough. And a lot of players tend to go for the winner when someone runs up instead of lobbing that person in singles. In doubles, it's actually, obviously, it's used a lot at the beginner level, 2.5, 3.0. And it's a great weapon for singles or doubles. And I want to point out at the beginning of the video the technical part of it. So what kind of lobs we can hit, the topspin lob and the chip over a person. And after that, I'm going to go a little bit more into the strategy and for singles and doubles, when to use it and what works really well when you play. So as I said, we start with the technique. You have two types of lobs, the slice lob and the topspin lob. And we will start with the slice lob. So you can hit the slice lob in a defensive position and in the offensive position. Okay, so if you have enough time and you decide to hit a slice lob, what you have to make sure is that you have a continental grip and that your wrist is kind of firmer so you can control and feel the ball. So it's important to keep the take back compact and that you follow through enough to control that ball. A lot of mistakes on recreational level are that the players, they pull their arms up, or they stop the motion abrupt, or their take back is too big. So there are a lot of common mistakes in that. So what you want to do is, and always refer back to that, is keep it as compact as possible. And therefore you're going to have a lot of control on the shot. So on the forehand lob, for example, if you have enough time on a slice lob, is, as you're going to see, when the ball comes, you have like a compact take back, and you make sure that you follow up. And there's a control point. You can always have a control checkpoint. I like to use the tip of the racket usually. So the tip of the racket, points up forward like a little bit in a 45 degree in front of you, so you can use like reference points. So when the ball comes, you just go up, you follow all the way, and you freeze up there. And as I said earlier, a lot of players, they stop the motion, they do it too abruptly, and they lose control, because it's like I always say, the racket is the prolongation of your guy's arm. So when you lob, you want to follow through. The same on the backhand side. As I said earlier, it is very important that you have a strong wrist, a continental grip and a strong wrist, because if you lose here, you cannot control the ball. So you have, ideally what you want to do is you pull the racket a little bit towards you, and that's going to lock your wrist. Remember that every time you pull the racket up a little bit to you, you're going to lock the wrist. So when the ball comes, you have a locked wrist, you follow up like this. And the same thing again, you go and you freeze up, and as you see, the tip points a little bit in the 45 degree in front of you, right there, and you follow all the way up. So that's in an ideal scenario, right? Then we have the scenario between, that was kind of more, you had time, you're in an offensive position where you can lob. If you don't have time and you're pushed out, let's say on the backhand side, what you want to do is, when you go, you keep it even more compact, you run out and you try to get it above the player. And once you're pushed out, you really want to increase the height over the net, because once you're out here, let's say you get it, you go up here, you want to have enough time to go back, split, and recover to the middle. So that's very important on the defensive end on the lob. If you have no time, someone pushes you off the court, you want to make sure that you keep your motion even more compact, right? You stretch out, you try to control it, and it has to go high enough so you can go back right in the middle and you buy time. So that's on a defensive shot. And on an offensive lob, when you have enough time and the ball comes short, what you really need to do is, as I say on the backhand side, you really want to, let's say the ball comes here, you want to lob, you really want to go in. That was a little bit far. So you want to close in and follow in with that ball so you can control it. So your body, your momentum, when you lob it, goes with you forward. That's very important. You can't just stop the motion abruptly. You have to use your body and use your legs and follow through with the arm to be able to have maximum control on that slice lob. Okay, so let's recap again. Next time you go on the court, how to get the continental grip. My way I like to use is I let the player put the racket under the armpit on the opposite side, pull the racket out like a sword. That gives you kind of a decent continental grip. That's key. So now how do I get my wrist stable to lob? You know, like we coaches, we have it easy because we feed so many balls. So all you do is you use your left hand and pull the racket towards you, and that will lock your wrist. Remember that. Step number 2 is you pull the racket to you. And ideally, if you lob on the back end side, you want to pull the racket when you turn towards your body. It's going to keep your wrist locked. And then you go up and slice lob it over your opponent. Same on the forehand. You lay your wrist back here. It's locked, right? So you pull it a little bit, you lay it back, and then use your whole body and make sure that your arm follows through nicely. That's how you're going to learn how to place that slice lob and control it. The topspin lob. So, as we said on the slice lob, like you mostly don't have enough time to hit the ball. Someone approaches super fast to the net, and you have only a short time to slice it over them. But if you have a little bit more time, the topspin lob is more efficient, because when you use a topspin lob, what happens is when the ball bounces, it spins towards the fence, right? So it spins away from the players, and they have a harder time to hit that back if you put enough rounds per minute on there. So how does a topspin lob look? So on the forehand side, you want to make sure you engage your whole body, you get under the ball and you roll it up like that. And you go and you roll it up. So you see the nice Magnus effect. As more rounds per minute you put on there, as deeper down the ball, the curve of the ball goes and the ball falls into the court. And it's important as well, again, I'm going to go into the points, that you follow through, that you engage your whole body. It's always a whole body deal. Even with the slice lob earlier, if you just use your arms, it's not going to work. So on the back end side, if for a one-hander, you have to get under the ball and you pull up, you see, and you finish up here. And then with the two-hander, the same. You go under it and you pull up. And you do that with the whole body. Your whole body is helping. And for the two-hander, you need to make sure that the left arm goes up and wraps that shot up in the end of the day. So technically, what do you have to do? You have to make sure, you know, like for the topspin lob, like a good grip is a very, very strong Eastern or a semi-Western, so you can get more rounds per minute on the ball. So key is, as we said, on this lob, you know, you can hit it as well in the defense, obviously. As higher your level is, you know, you can run out here and then hit a defensive lob like that in. So it depends on your level of player you are. But for the most of the players at a recreational level, you know, I would use that more when you have more time and focus on that. So what happens is it's basically like a regular topspin forehand, but when the ball comes, you really have to get under it and you have to pull up a little bit more and go around. So you go up and then you go around. You have to get the racket head under the ball. That's key, because when you hit that ball, racket head comes, so you're low, the racket head gets under the ball, and you need to go a little bit deeper up, and then you finish up and around. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it, so when you practice on the ball machine, that's always good. You know, like make sure you have a setting where the ball comes easy, you get under the ball, and you pull it up. You will see how the ball's curve is, and then you can see if you have to hit that ball with a little bit more spin or not. What's important is, remember, if you want to hit a topspin lob, now you don't want your stiff so tight. So if the ball comes, if you have a tight wrist now, then you can only push that ball. You need to be flexible. So actually now, it's the opposite than the slice lob. Now you want to have a loose wrist, so you get under the ball and you can actually roll it. So you can grip that ball better. So if you have a stiff wrist, now you will not get the racket head under the ball in order to hit a topspin lob. So you need to make sure that you have as well a compact motion, ideally a little loop to get under it nicely, and then you have to be loose in the wrist. You go up and around. Very important, otherwise you will not be successful on your topspin lob. So that wrist, On one side you have to have it tighter, on the other side you have to be looser. So it takes a little bit. So on the backhand side for the two-hander is the same deal. So when the ball is here, you need to make sure you get under that ball. The racket head, as you see here, my wrist gets under that ball, and the left arm for me as a right-hander takes a little bit over. You go up, and then it's important that when you go up, you use your body and the legs to go up and finish over that left shoulder and roll it up. That was a little bit short, so I have to go a little bit longer, and then you see it's falling over, and my extension helped me to control that ball a little bit deeper. So all question of engaging the whole body, following through enough, and extending out through the shot. There's not one shot where you not follow through. Even on a short angle, you still follow through and control it. Very important on the lob side. Now, talked about the technique, how to hit it. Now we're going to talk about in singles and doubles when to use it and how to use it. All right, let's get starting first with the singles. So in singles, let's assume someone comes in right over there and hits an approach shot to my backhand and I'm in trouble. So that's when you use that slice lob or the topspin lob. So in singles, when someone comes in and pushes us out here, you have two choices. Either you barely get it and you slice lob it, as we did earlier, or you barely get it and you flick it up here, follow through a little bit and get over that person. What I rarely see is, and what I would love for the beginner player and intermediate player to do is, when someone comes in single, what is the first thing we tend to do in a 2-5, 3-0 level, or even 3-5 or higher? We always want to go for that kill shot and pass them, right? But most of the players get so close to the net, and we have the whole area above the net where we can hit the ball to put them in trouble. And at the beginner level, what is one of the weakest shots? It's the overhead. So why do we have to go when the ball comes out here? You're fully on the run. Why do you try to pass someone on their forehand or backhand side? So if you're in trouble right here, you have to get out. Why not lobbing, buying enough time and getting back? Say that is one of the biggest mistakes I see in recreational level when someone comes in. We always try to go for that kill shot, but actually that's a low percentage shot. And even the pros, when they can and they have great lobs. Look, Andy Murray uses it like a lot. I love his lob. Nick Kyrgios uses a lot. Like they're all the great players. When they can, they use the lob. It's a very underused shot, but it's very important. So in singles, if someone comes up, you want to be able to either topspin or slice lob it, and you don't want to go for the kill winner shot. So now another scenario, someone is serving super fast and plays serve and volley in singles, for example, and they serve to your backhand here, and they play serve and volley, same deal, you try to lob. And then what I'd like to do is if someone plays serve and volley and comes in on that side and hits it right here, I like to lob if they're right-handed over that was a little bit too far, over their backhand side, because, you know, unless you're a Pat Rafter, you have the backhand overhead obviously is the weakest shot. So you want to get them and lob in singles, definitely more over their backhand side, because you want them to be in trouble there and move around. So on the return of serve, if someone plays serve and volley, for example, another scenario, you want to chip it more on that one, so you want to slice lob it, and you want to go above the backhand side. So now I'll give you another great tip in doubles when to use the slice lob and when to use the offensive lob. Let's start with the slice lob. Doubles. This play, guys, will give you so many points, you will thank me for that. So let's assume it's break point right here. I'm standing right here, and my opponent missed in doubles the first serve, now second serve, and you know they're getting tight, and especially at the beginner level, when the second serve is not strong, what I want you to do is move inside the court. Don't be shy to move inside the court. You want to get closer to the other side so you have a better lob. So move inside the court, and when someone has a second serve and you have break point, set point, important point, and they serve to your backhand and it comes right here, I want you to start to lob over the net person, right, or something right like there. So what does that? So first of all, you lob over the net person. You have to imagine the baseline player over there, the server is right there, and you lobbed over that person. So the net player has to move over and the server has to cover. So you're creating chaos on the court, and especially at the beginner level. Now they have to answer your lob, your chip lob, your slice lob over the hat. It's not easy. So now what your partner can do at the net, if you go with the lob over here, and you had your partner standing right here, so your partner saw they get lobbed, so your partner can pinch the middle now and be a little bit more aggressive, be right here, because they most likely will have to hit it right there. So your partner can be like right up here and be ready for that overhead and pinch the middle. So for me, it's so crucial and important that you train the beginner and intermediate level those overheads a lot. So you have to be really stable and good with the overheads. Once you master this, you're not going to be bothered so much by the lobbing that's going on. As I said at the beginning of the video, 2-5-3-0 level, tennis is all about lobbing, right? So it's so crucial to learn the overheads really good. So, and obviously the lobbing, you at the beginner level, you get that enough. So this is a great tip for you guys to confuse your opponents, to create chaos, and to take advantage of a weak second serve. And on this side over here, same deal on the second serve. I like to use the forehand topspin lob, because now someone hits a weak shot and you put some spin on that lob, that's even harder from the other side to hit that ball back. So your partner, remember, is going to be right here. You hit that lob, they are right there on their forehand on this side. And then if they don't hit a good ball, they can come up here and intercept that overhead. So very important play on either side in doubles to lob over the net player. And for me, in singles, it's a little bit more important to lob over the backhand side. If your skill level is good enough to do it in doubles, obviously you want to do that as well. But in singles, you just have more space. You don't have to worry. Then doubles, you have 4 players on the court, and everything is kind of covered. So that makes it a little bit maybe harder at the beginning to get over the backhand side on the lob end. So yeah, I feel like doubles and singles, in doubles, lob is used a good amount of times, but in singles, definitely, you know, we go too much for the kill shot on the passing shot instead of lobbing.